and force the double coverage to come all the way down to him, and then you start moving the ball around. Now you start seeing a spread offense where the ball's moving again like it was when the Knicks were playing and the Celtics were playing. And so, I think it just depends on the style of defense that you're seeing and the personnel that you have. I think that determines the style of play.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. Taking a look at the Nuggets. Doug McDermott is out there with Larry Nance. Then there's Dragic, and it's Rudy Gobert, and it's Hezonja in at the 2. James outside. With the defensive effort. You look back to the final game as a player, Kobe, all the emotion that was building up for that moment. Then you go out and score 60 points. Surreal moment. Did you ever think for any moment that maybe I've got 1 year left in the tank after that 60-point performance?
You know what? It wasn't a matter if I had another year in the tank. It was just, I just don't want to do this anymore. I wake up in the morning, my body's sore. That 60-point game was everything I had left for that year. And to be able to have to reboot that and reset the system all over again, no thank you.
People don't see that side of it, do they?
No, they don't. But it's just, we want them to, right? We want them to appreciate being entertained and coming to a game and taking their mind off of whatever it is they want to take their mind off of. It's an opportunity for them to escape. And that's what we provide. So that's completely fine.
LeBron drives in. It's hauled in by the Nuggets. This game coming after a loss against the Jazz.
Yeah, and some of that loss was due to a lack of hustle, especially on the defensive end.
And there are games where an opponent gets aggressive. You got to raise your level of play. They failed to do that in this one.
Pass it to Marjanovic. In the corner, it's Lynn. Offensive rebound. Trying his luck deep. Good, and the assist goes to James. Lynn's got 5 now.
LeBron with the whip pass there, good at surveying the court and spotting the open teammate.
And Kobe, something that has changed in the NBA over the course of your career is the role of the power forward, the 4. More and more you need to be able to stretch the floor, take your guy outside, shoot the 3. Do you feel that that's a trend, or is that something you think that is here to stay in the NBA?
Well, I think things will evolve and things will change. When you start getting power forwards like Tim Duncan and Garnett back in the league, Dirk, all of a sudden it becomes less and less of a commodity to have smaller forwards, right? Because you're going to need to deal with the Tim Duncans and the Garnetts of the world. So I think it's just a natural evolution.
Did you, when you had to guard a big like that, ever fear going out and trying to get him on the side or even working him inside the lane where he would have more power, more advantage?
No, I never worried about it too much. What I try to do is I always try to study the film and figure out what their tendencies are, what their sweet spots are, and you just try to get them off of that. It's not how do you get yourself in position when you can knock them all down a little bit and use the lack of size that you have to disorient them.
And lots of credit for the team around him. They're picking up the slack here tonight. You just can't buy a bucket right now.
And that one, good. And that's now 7 points for Lynn. And after 20 years in the NBA, Kobe, you were able to play with so many teammates. Can you make a short list of some of your favorites over the years?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Pau Gasol for me. Derek Fisher.
And a quality person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, right.
And Derek Fisher, Ronnie Turiaf, who's one of my all-time favorites. Lamar Odom, Shaq, obviously, Robert Horry, Rick Fox. I mean, I've been very fortunate to play with some great teams. Horace Grant, AC Green. I mean, let's go. Ron Harper. I mean, I can go on and on all day long. Brian Shaw. I mean, I was very fortunate to have some really good teammates.
Well, you got to play against some great defenders in the NBA, like Draymond. What are some of the things that I mentioned Draymond Green that he does as a player that you think separates him from the rest of the defensive guys in the league?
He does his research. He does his homework. He knows the player's tendencies. And so when you mix in the research to go along with his frame and the quick hands and the foot speed, then you have a defensive player that's a force.
Here's McDermott. And the rejection by James.
LeBron using his length that time perfectly. He's in the area. You can't throw up anything lazy.
Kobe, a big part of the talent evaluation today is the psychological impact in that aspect, which I think will lead teams toward one prospect over another. If you were looking for personality traits in players and you were making that decision for a team, what trait would you value the most in a player?
About curiosity. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's curiosity.
Why so?
Because curious people will always ask why things work or don't work.
And you were a big why asker.
Because that's the only reason you win, is when you can figure out why things happen or didn't happen. Right? If you lose a game, a curious person will point the finger. A curious person will say, well, why did we lose? You know, instead of just saying them, right. They're going to go back and check the film and ask questions. Okay, why did we mess up there? Why did we blow that coverage there?
Here's Clarkson. LeBron kicks to Clarkson. Second shot opportunity. Gobert pulls it in.
Oh, and the D did not make that any easier. Can't fault the shooter for missing. That's a tough shot.
Denver passing it around. And it's Gobert again missing.
Right thing there to stay that tight on him and really try to keep him out of his comfort zone.
Kobe, you've made no bones about patterning your game after Michael Jordan. You watched him while growing up. Can you give us a little insight into the impacts of what he meant to you and how he formed you in some ways?
Sure. Well, yeah, I think most players growing up, at least my generation, probably watched him play and saw all of the fancy plays, the dogs, the highlights, and things of that nature. What I focused on was how he got to the moves, the timing, the fundamentals, the spacing, the rhythm. That's what I studied meticulously, and so when I watched him play, I think I watched him play a lot differently than others. Having gone to college and all these other things, growing up overseas, I had to learn the fundamentals by watching, observing the greats, and to the most minute detail.
They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket.
Nice shot by McDermott. Kobe, LeBron said he learned so much about how to approach the game when you shared the floor on Team USA. What was it like playing with a guy like him, as you also played with Jordan, and then going up against him all those years?
Well, I think it was a shocking experience for them, because I don't think they realized how much I talk trash.
No.
Yeah,
what?
I don't think they knew, because, when you from a distance, you say, Kobe, we thought you were really quiet and all sorts of stuff, and you get to practice, and I just don't shut up. And I'm just saying really brutal things about their game. And it's just, they're getting really ticked off. But
then, because you were right.
Yeah, the intensity of practice goes up another level. And then we'd all go out to dinner, and then the next morning, we come to the meeting, and I've already been working out for 2 hours. So then they see that, and then, D-Wade would come up and say, hey, man, I want to join you in your workout. What time are we going? 5 a.m. Right, he'd be down there working out, and then Brian said, yeah, I want to come too. And Brian would show up, and Melly would show up. And slowly but surely, we have our whole USA team in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning training. For those other players. Totally was fun for all of us. We got a chance to hang around each other and think about the competition. Right, so now when we come back to the NBA, fans are getting a better product. Right, because we've all been working out, pushing each other, and getting better off of each other. So now when we step on the court to compete against each other, that means we have to take our games to another level.
That's a great story. And Los Angeles with some changes. Scal Labissiere checked in for Bosch. Joe Ingles comes in for James. And Goodwin subbed in for Jordan Clarkson.
Looking comfortable there from the line. Knows he needs to come through for his team at the charity stripe.
And Kobe, how did you learn to watch tape? Because there are guys now watching tape and they'll just go, and you wonder if it's really even sinking in.
Trial and error.
Yeah, right. But really, that was it.
Trial and error. You start looking at things, you start saying, man, like if I'm watching an edit on the play, and I watch one particular game, and then I look at the next game, and next time, hold on, let me go back and watch. And then you start looking for consistent behaviors or patterns in their behavior. And then you think, okay, maybe that's something that's a tendency for him. Let me go back and check. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles. Oh my God, yeah, that's it. There's the pattern. Right, so what if I interrupt him between his first and second dribble and throw him off a rhythm? What'll happen then? Right? What if I know he's going to go 1-2, turn right shoulder? I let him go 1-2. Now I jump to his right shoulder. Now you can't turn there. What happens then? Right? You throw him off of their patterns.
Even from over here, here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
And Kobe, you look around the league and you see a lot of former players as head coaches, guys that you actually played against. Have you ever thought about coaching down the line?
Nope. No, I have not. Not for me. You know, it's for them, though, but it's not for me.
I would think that it would be tough to try to get the same result out of players you coach and not comparing it to the way you play, the way you prepare, the way you work.
That's what I hear. I just don't have the desire to even think about it that far. I mean, it's not something that I'm into. But that's the challenges I hear. Bird's coaching, Magic's coaching. I always hear that as being a challenge. But ultimately, you have to find different ways to motivate players. Nobody's the same with the shots. You just try to have to figure out how to get them to their highest level. But still in all, coaching is just not.
And over the course of your career, Kobe, 5 NBA championships. Are there any of those that really stand out among the 5 that you accumulated?
The last one, beating the Celtics. That was the hardest one by far to get.
Why so?
Well, we're going into Boston now with the series tied 1-1. And Boston is absolutely excited about having the split and going home now and having 3 games at home, thinking that the series was not going to come back to L.A. And so that was an interesting playing flight for us, and then to go out and get the very next game, just to go down 3-2, coming back to L.A., and then to finally pull out that series after being down 15 in the fourth quarter against the Celtics. Thank you.
Outside Bogdanovich. That's a 2 from Smith. And no good. And the Lakers going the other way now. They come into this one having outplayed the Magic last game.
And you know what? Sometimes it's hard to say whether or not defensively you were on your game. But bottom line is their opponent didn't shoot it well. And you got to take some of the credit from a defensive standpoint.
No question they deserve some credit, but they were really helped out by what was a very shaky performance on the other side. Nobody on that squad had a night they want to remember.
Good win. A lot of give and take between these sides early.
Yeah, and both teams look like they came to play. We should have a good one.
And it's Bogdanovich in the corner. Over Goodwin. And again, Denver, no good.
They hold the early advantage on the glass.
Moore against Smith. Now, here's Ingles. He's tightly guarded. 5 to shoot. Moore outside. From deep, 3-point range. From deep. That shot missing. Now the Nuggets take it the other way. Smith outside. Inside. Marked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. The Lakers in the lead. Now here's Moore. He's averaging a bit over 5 points a game. The pass to Goodwin. Labissiere, the screen. And he got the whistle, so he'll have a 3-point play opportunity.
Right now he is locked in. He's getting great shots, and he's burning the D in a variety of ways.
Lakers shooting their 5th attempt at the line in the game. And
it's been an average year, really, at the free throw line for this group, only around 75%.
50, baby. Nah, man, you get little guy. Yeah, I got him. Hey, you get shooter. I got him.
Call the left.
The Nuggets trail by 4. Here's Bogdanovich. And that's a foul called on Archie Goodwin. That's his first foul.
That's his first personal foul.
We've got 13 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Bogdanovich with it. They set the pick. Here's Temple. And that concludes the first quarter of play. Los Angeles on top as they go on a 10-0 run to end the period. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports. And now Well, a chance to hear from Chris Bosh about what it meant to him to become an NBA player, the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
I was obsessed with the NBA as a kid, and just like I would have died to get in that locker room, you know. So I always have a moment just sitting around and, you know, just not taking things for granted and really take.
What a great cut from Chris Bosh. That's the kind of guy you can't help, Greg, but love for his attitude and ability to be, you know, in touch with that kid he once was. I know you played the same way. Chris Bosh was living the dream like you did and loved it.
That's a great point, Kevin. And I think most of the guys in the league feel that same way. I mean, they may not be able to say it or articulate it as smoothly as Chris does, but inside every individual player is a kid who's still thrilled to wear the uniform and play the game they love.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And taking a look at Los Angeles' performance here. What have they been doing or not doing?
For me, that defense in the first period, just tremendous shot blocking.
Yeah, that prevented some points, didn't it? Also, how you have that intimidation factor going early on. You wonder if in the fourth quarter they'll think back to the first.
On the floor for Denver as we get going here in the second quarter. They've got Muscala. Garrett Temple's out there with Lyons. Then Smith, and it's Bogdanovich in at the 2 spot. This year, Higgs to Ingles to the wing right side. Not enough on that one as it misses.
That's a shot you got to step up on. Wide open, no coverage. Good shooters don't miss that often.
A lot of different ways to lead in the NBA, Kobe. It seems like your leadership style evolved over the course of your career. Talk about that aspect of your life.
Well, in the first half of my career, I was more of a tactician, more floor general. And then the second half of my career, I had to really start thinking about the emotions of the group and connecting with the group more and thinking more outside in as opposed to inside out. But I was also, I was very tough on the guys. I wasn't there to make new friends. I was there to help you be the best player you can be, to help us win a championship.
Is it tough sometimes to have a guy that you were close to take some harsh criticism?
No, because the goal is what? To win a championship. This is why we're here. This is why I'm sitting in this leadership position. I owe it to the team to help us get in that direction. You know, we can sit here and be nice to each other and tell each other what we think we want to hear. And then at the end of the season, we can all hug each other and say, you know what, we'll get him next time.
It's a chance now to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Jordan. Guys, the league may have never seen a player with more control on and off the court than LeBron James. He is a superstar, a playmaker, a coach on the floor. Some say he's the GM. And he even has a stake in a player agent business. LeBron says it's his dream to one day own an NBA team. Well, he's certainly getting some practice. Kevin?
No question about it, David. He's well on his way. As important a player as we've ever seen in basketball. Oh, wow, guys, doesn't look good. We've got an injury here.
This would be a terrible blow. Hopefully it's less serious than it looks.
Well, looking at his face right there, you can tell he's in a lot of pain, and there's a lot of trepidation right now on that team's sideline.
Clarkson pitch to Labissiere. Rebound by the Nuggets. Muscala's got 4 rebounds now tonight. And you look at the NBA today and the social media, Kobe, a lot easier for NBA players to connect with fans over that social media platform. However, it's also easier to get people in trouble. Players have got to keep that periscope up, so to say. How hard do you think that is to manage?
Well, you know, I think now in this particular generation, the sensitivity towards things you may hear or see on social media is much different than it would have been years ago. In other words, nowadays for athletes to be on social media, it's more easily tolerable for them to say something.
Take a break.
Right? Or to be able to speak their mind.
Yes.
2 shots.
And I think the important thing is just the consistency in that. You know, if you have a thought and you want to say it, say it. Right? Put it out on social media. Do whatever it is that you want to do with it. The key is just to be consistent and be who you are. Not be afraid to be who you are.
So I think for players, Kobe, when they've been criticized on social media, I think they feel it's better to sleep on a reply and see if that same thought still resonates the next morning. Because a lot of in the heat of a post game, you read something, guys go off.
Yeah, they do. And at the same time, when that does happen, because it's going to happen, no matter how many times we say it, it's going to happen. Yeah. And when it does happen, to be able to step back and say, okay, yeah, that's how I felt in the moment, and I said what I felt, and here's why I felt that way, and now you're ready to move on. I mean, it's a lot like life.
And there's no question that James is one of the best dunkers ever. A forceful finisher who loves showing off his athleticism.
And that last replay, courtesy of Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. Well, Kobe, more and more front offices around the NBA embracing analytics. At the same time, a lot of veteran executives who have kind of the old-time group have been somewhat critical of that approach. Which side do you take on that?
Well, I mean, I think there's use for analytics. What they do is they tell you what's happening or what's happened, but you still need the keen eye to be able to understand why they happen. And that's what numbers can't tell you.
Put some meaning in back of the numbers.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. It's tough to understand if you see a player shoot this percentage. First 5 games of the season, he shot X. The last 3 games, he shot Y. And you don't understand why. The numbers will tell you that, but maybe he had something going on at home that was bothering him emotionally.
Yes.
Right? And therefore his focus was elsewhere. And so his shooting percentage went down. Right? The numbers don't show you that. It doesn't show you the emotion of the player.
And the foul called on Skal Labissiere. That's his first foul.
That's his first personal foul.
Angeles on D. Only giving up 6 here in this quarter. Mans a screen. 6 to shoot. Lets the 3 fly. That one's good. The Laker lead is cut down now to just 5 on the bucket from Azania. Well, it seems like with more threes and more skill-based play, the league is adapting more of a European style of play. You grew up in Italy, Kobe. You know about that style. You appreciated that style. How did that impact your personal development as a player?
Well, tremendously. I mean, if you look at the era in which I grew up in Italy, you look at the players that came out of it. So myself, Pau Gasol, Manu Ginobili. I mean, there's a lot of players that grew up in that same time frame that play the game fundamentally sound, because I think all the coaches here in America were doing camps and clinics for coaches overseas.
Like Julie Brown, right?
Exactly.
Always go overseas.
Exactly. Exactly. And so we were products of that teaching. So all of our coaches growing up were implementing the fundamentals and the basics of the game by these amazing American coaches. And so we were kind of fortunate in terms of the time that we grew up.
Moment here now for an injury report.
Thanks, Kevin. I got some news from the Lakers' head athletic trainer. He told me that it appears as though he broke his toe on that play. Of course, the schedule is getting extremely demanding at this time of the season. That injury is only going to make things worse. Kevin?
Thank you, David. Guys, the only thing you can wish for is that the prognosis isn't quite as bad as they're making it out to be.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Was really hoping for better news than that, but that does not sound encouraging.
We always think about when players go down, how terrible a blow it can be for the team. We wish him well and hope he's on the floor quickly.
And Kobe, while those coaches were imparting the fundamentals abroad, did that get lost in translation, you think, here in the States?
Well, I think they just took it for granted. I think players took it for granted. And you start seeing the teaching stuff. It's like you have a parent that's constantly telling you to clean the room. After a while, you start tuning out the rest. And I think a lot of that is what happened here in America, which is why you see some of our fundamental skills erode over time.
Are you saying that your girls, your 14, your 11, they tune you out?
Oh, my God. I can say something a million times, but if Beyonce says it one time, it's wrong. That's it. Dude, I've been saying the same thing for years. No one listens to me.
Yeah, this is where you have to sharpen up your passing. That's a careless turnover.
The Nuggets trail by 10. And Kobe, did the Laker front office ever talk to you or just brush an idea past you to get your opinion on things, whether it be a trade or a free agent signing or whatever?
No, we never really did that. We never had that kind of working relationship. You know, I think it's actually better that way. Because then it enables me to have a better relationship with the guys where they know I'm not involved in those decisions. You know what I mean? Because if so, it makes it that relationship. Guys get traded and teammates are looking at you and it's hard to trust you and all some stuff. The most conversation I had was with Dr. Buss in this very shaky time.
Yes.
Where I voiced my concerns, and he said, listen, I promise you, you see the right trade, you will pull the trigger, and I'm going to do everything I can to get you a championship. I promise you that. And after he said that, I trusted him completely. That was that. And then the following year, he made a beautiful trade for Pau Gasol.
He sure did. And a couple championships.
And a couple championships. Worked out well. Yeah, it did.
For Los Angeles, they have gone a perfect 7 of 7 from the line tonight.
Two shots.
That free throw, no good.
Well, still, Kevin, sitting here courtside with you in that fine suit, it gets me excited that I have another chance to watch one of the greatest players to play in the NBA. LeBron James continues to dominate.
And it's the Nuggets with the ball. They trail by 11. Well, Kobe, something that's such a huge tool in the NBA and the team's offense is the pick and roll, the screen roll game. You've done it as well as anybody. Just how are the nuances and the attention to detail?
LeBron James in full speed right there. What size? And skill coming down the lane.
The Nuggets trail by 13. That's to Dragic. Here's Azania, defended by Lin. Shoots from 8. The kick out to Dragic. It's stolen by Marjanovic. Floats it up for James. And there's the feed to Clarkson. Good, and the assist goes to James. James has got 4 assists now tonight.
You can blame some poor defense on that play. Just a total breakdown. Got to at least contest at some point.
And Gobert kicks to Hazanya. Halt the run, and 2 shots coming up in the line as he gets fouled on the shot. And the foul called on Los Angeles. First trip to the line for him here.
Yeah, it's good to see him with his free throw percentage up over 80.
Both shots good from the stripe.
Hey, guys, this is the way to stay in the game. They're doing a masterful job from the line. Perfect this quarter.
Pass to Clarkson. He kicks it to Lin. There's a screen by Marjanovic. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle, and 2 shots coming up. It's going to be on Rudy Gobert.
You have to admire the aggressiveness of Lin. Constantly looking to draw the foul on his shot.
Kobe, you were a player who lived in the gym. What motivated you as you go back and look at all those hours you spent in the gym to do that, to follow that path?
I loved it. I loved the game. It wasn't a matter of working hard. I didn't realize I was working hard until like my 2nd or 3rd year in the league when I realized here in the NBA, a lot of players don't do that.
Right.
It was kind of a big shock to me. Like I assumed everybody in the NBA
just worked hard.
Yeah, but to me it wasn't hard work. It was like, I love doing this. Like there's no place on earth I'd rather be than be here in this gym with a basketball in the hoop.
But the greats are always the hardest workers, aren't they? I mean, right, have you ever seen a great player who is not the hardest worker on their team?
No, I've seen players have great seasons. And, you know, and then the next season, it's not so much. Right. And then they have another great one. And the consistency isn't there. The truly great players love what they do. And that looks like hard work to the outside world.
Did you enjoy playing the game? There was so much you put into the game, but did you enjoy the game?
I did. I enjoyed the game. I loved playing, you know, the competition and all that, and getting ready and all that. But I enjoyed practice more.
Did you?
I did. I enjoyed training and practice more than I did.
He feeds it to Clarkson. Jackson. There's the dish to James. Score the basket. Here's 8 for 13 from the floor. Kobe, for a guy like yourself who made an incredible amount of three-point shots during your career, what is it like watching Steph Curry? Just how much has he changed the league? It was always watching the dunks of Jordan. Now we got kids that want to shoot the ball from distance.
Yeah, shooting the ball from distance now has kind of become like a home run in baseball. It's exciting to watch the ball in flight. I think it's great because it just adds more love to the game, more things that players could do that, or kids can do that don't, right? It's like dunking was the thing, right? But now the kids that can't dunk, there's something else that's fun, something else that's entertaining, like shooting threes. Right? So
but boy, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's a lot of
hundreds of shots daily.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition. I mean, you know, Steph, you watch him out there playing and making all these shots. He's put in hours and hours and hours of hard work to continue to do so.
Bosh with the jam.
That's great basketball to feed Bosh. He completes the spectacular dunk there.
The Nuggets trail by 18. Hazonia kicks to Nance. Outside Dragic. Outs one up and count it, and a chance for one more at the free throw line.
And they've gotten away from the inside game this quarter. It was working well for them in the first. They should get back to that game plan. Work it inside and punish the D down low.
Here's what Denver's going with right now. Muscala, he's checked in for Nance. Bogdanovich comes in for Doug McDermott. And Smith subbed in for Mario Hazonia. James. Dedmon dishes to LeBron. Bosh, the screen.
LeBron right through the defense this time. Incredible at finishing off that one.
The Nuggets trail by 17. Smith kicks to Gobert. Back to Smith. Shoots over Lynn. The Nuggets with another miss. LA's gone 2 of 3 when they've stepped beyond the arc in the second quarter. In the corner, it's James. The basket good off the assist from Lynn. That's now 22 points for LeBron.
Yeah, you still have to get a hand up, even with LeBron out there. That's the one shot you invite him to take, but at least get the hand up.
They get it back. Lynn against Smith. Stolen by Jeremy Lin. Goes up, and he caps off the fast break with a monster slam.
And I think that play sort of sums up what we've seen tonight. Just simply being outplayed both sides of the ball. Smart basketball defensively, turning into easy points.
Here's Gobert. Offensive rebound. And he makes that one.
Rudy Gobert.
Gobert's got 11.
Defensively, you cause the miss, but then you have to corral it.
Well, that's the second part of the equation there. Block out, be aggressive, and control the glass.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by, Kobe. Hope you come back and join us again.
I definitely will. I had a great time, man. Thank you for having me.
And Brent, you know firsthand the level of basketball IQ Kobe had when he played. Always interesting to hear what he has to say about the game.
Well, absolutely, Kevin. Kobe's one of the ultimate competitors and understands every nuance of the game. So nice to have some Mamba moments here for us.
And how's that for some ups coming from that one?
Well, he is a rarity among NBA point guards in his ability to elevate.
Gotta love the fact that going vertical is a major part of what makes him so difficult as a point guard to defend, especially around the rim.
Clock at 6. Puts it up from 12. Gobert pulls it in. Gobert's got the glass covered here tonight. 11 boards for him. Here's Bogdanovich. James with some nice D.
And a tough game for the guys around him, mainly because his shot's been hit and miss.
Hey, get LeBron! Get LeBron! I'm up.
It's taken away by Smith. Dragic. That shot, no good. And so it's the Los Angeles Lakers closing out the quarter with a 20-point lead. The scoring has been tremendous, and they are shooting lights out with very high accuracy. And we've got more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way after this break.
In the event of emergency evacuation.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello.